Hey, everybody. It is the 23rd of March, 2023. We're a couple days into springtime, and this is Plutus PBL live coding. We meet every Wednesday and Thursday to support the Plutus PBL course from Gimbal Labs. We meet at 14:30 UTC, and you can get details about the meeting both at plutuspbl.io and at gimbalabs.com/calendar. So we're starting to get into the swing of things here. People are starting to run into some real development challenges. People are starting to have development environments set up and compiling their first smart contracts. And today we can spend some time looking at ways to maybe generate different CBOR than we did in the lessons by messing around with the contracts a little bit. But before we jump into that shared exploration, we always want to start these sessions with some questions. So does anybody have any questions from the first couple of modules, either from, the introductory module 100 or from the one that went live this week, or just any other questions that you want to bring to the group? Jeff, go for it. Hey.
Hey, what's up? I have I guess a throwback error from the first lesson that I'm actually trying now. Is the testnet faucet down for anybody else, or it didn't work for me?
I haven't heard that it's down. Did you get the rate limit message, or was it something else?
So I got hold on, I'll have a picture in a second. So at first it told me it succeeded, but then the transaction never showed up, and I looked on Cardano scan and it's not there, but it said it succeeded, and it gave me a hash and everything. And then that was last night, and then so I waited till this morning, and then I checked again and it's still not there, and now it's rate limiting me.
Okay, try it might be that you missed the drop down menu switching from preview network to pre-prod.
Okay, I think I'm on pre-prod, although I did fail to get it to, I couldn't figure out how to do it on Eternal. Got it on Nami, I think.
Okay, so it's gonna rate limit from the IP address, right? Whether you hit the faucet on any network, there's a limit to how many they'll give people in a day. But try searching for does Cardano Scan have a preview up right now? Preview.Cardano Scan. It looks like they do. Yeah, try just searching for the transaction hash if you still have it on preview.cardanoscan.io, just to see if anything's there. And then if not,
cool.
that's
okay, I'll try that.
If not, it's a little weird. Just drop me an address. I'll send them over to you.
Awesome, thanks. Oh, you're right. You're right. By the way, it totally is on Cardano Scan, just only on preview.Cardano Scan.
This is so many and you would forget.
I was wondering if it was my internet that was unstable. It appears it was James's. Is your connection back?
I hope so. Sorry.
I was thinking it was my end. I'm doing a speed test to check what's going on, and I've got 9 megabits down and 12 up. So I'm fairly good this end, and then you went.
Something's going on my street. I don't know. They were repairing the internet last week. I hope it means they're upgrading it, but you never know these days. Anyway, drop a note in the chat if my connection is coming through bad, and I'll try to switch to the phone or something. But hey, I want to come back to Jeff's question there because this raises another just a good thing for people to understand. You can generate a testnet address from any verification key. And no matter what testnet you specify, preview or pre-prod, you'll actually get the same testnet address. Okay. So if I, from the same set of mnemonics, if I generated an address on preview or pre-prod, it will actually be the same, which is kind of neat. And you can use the same mnemonics actually for any network, including mainnet. The mainnet address will look different because mainnet addresses have a slightly different form. But it's just interesting to keep in mind once you have any keys. I'm going to turn off my video. I think my connection is deficient today. All right. Before we jump into exploration, does anybody else have questions? No sound.
Just popped in. Just want to say good morning, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, can you hear me now? Okay. Hey, good morning, Vincent. Good to have you. Hey, sorry about my technical problems. Just don't have a great connection today. But we're starting off with some Q&A. Does anybody else have questions from the first two modules so far?
One thing, when I was running Nix, I was only able to get it to work using the GC don't GC equal 1. Where can I find more information of what is that?
We had a little live search about that during the session yesterday. Anybody want to try Sebastian's question? So first of all, that solution, I recognized that I needed it as well when I was having the segmentation fault. So this was an example of where you can go into a Discord server and search for an error and see what Discord tells you. Ideally, these solutions would also be on Cardano Stack Exchange. So if anybody wants to take on that work of adding some of these insights there, that's great. Of course, this doesn't answer the question of what does this GC don't GC one actually do? And some people did some live research during the live coding session yesterday, and it has to do with the Nix garbage collector. Hey, nice, Jeff. This is from Cardano Stack Exchange. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, it looks like it says it disables the garbage collector in Nix. Which helps us avoid some edge cases, right? What exactly are those edge cases? This answer doesn't quite cover that part, and I would love to understand a bit more if anybody else has done that research. Wish I had a more satisfying answer, Sebastian, because I've been looking for myself, but haven't had full time to research it.
Sure, no worries. I'll see what I come up.
Erez, how's it going?
Yeah, hey, it's good, thanks. Good to be here. I let's see, when I did the Nix, I think it was Cabal REPL command, I'm getting a lot of errors and like especially it says something about LLVM. Like couldn't figure out LLVM version. Make sure you have installed LLVM between 9 and 13.
Good. So this is, are you using Demeter or your local environment now?
Local.
Excellent. And you got Nix set up, you got into the Nix shell via Plutus apps, and then you navigated to the template, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you run Cabal update before Cabal REPL?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that one. Do you mind sharing screen so we can look at those errors and just see what we're getting?
Yeah, hold on.
Sometimes there will be what looks like a bunch of scary errors, but it's just various like Haskell package things that various people aren't following the like compiler warning guidelines and stuff.
See screen share. Can you see okay?
Yep. Yeah, that looks good. So you're in, it looks like you're in the Plutus template, but not in a Nix shell right now. Up here.
Should I keep going up or?
Yeah. Let's see if we can find where you first ran Cabal REPL.
Right here, I think.
Good. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So this, it doesn't look like we're in the Nix shell right now. Okay. And so when you do run Cabal REPL in the Plutus PBL template, you want to already be in the Nix shell. But let's run that right now, because this is one of those workflows that it's good for everybody to see to make sure they've got it.
Okay.
So if you can just type clear and it'll take you to the bottom of your terminal window.
Clear. Oops.
Just tap enter or anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. All right. So now if you can navigate not to this directory, but to the Plutus apps directory. So maybe cd ... And then do you have a Plutus apps here? Try cd Plutus-apps.
CD.
Yeah, ls was the right idea as well, just to check. That's good. Okay, great. So we can cd into Plutus apps. And this is where we're going to run Nix shell, but just give us a git status first.
How do I do that again?
Type git and then space status. Good, yeah. So we're on v120. That's great. And so whatever Nix shell command has worked for you, whether it's Nix develop or Nix shell.
I don't remember, but we can try Nix shell.
Put a dash in between Nix dash shell.
Nix dash.
And it's a single, no spaces, just Nix dash shell, all one word.
Yeah.
There you go. Now this is the step. This takes a while the first time, and we'll see if we get the segmentation fault or not. So we might have to let this run in the background for a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. if you get to the segmentation fault error, you can use that GC don't GC1 command that's in the lesson. If you get some other error, we'll figure it out. But yeah, this is going to take a while. Here, let this run in the background and let us know when you get to either a Nix command line or any error.
Okay, sounds good.
And we'll
Thanks.
pick that up. This is fun. We'll edit this video and just show your process as a mini video. What else? Any other questions from the first couple of modules?
I got I got stuck a little bit last night. I'm late doing this. I'm stuck on the Nix installing it. I have an idea that it's the machine I'm using. I'm using a Microsoft, and I know there's a way of changing the environment but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Probably have to take a little bit more research, do a little bit more reading.
You've given yourself the most difficult task of getting Nix running on Microsoft. This has been a problem, and there's been a few different ways that we've looked at it, but I think what we settled on during the last course is just having somebody set up a virtual machine, right? Which not ideal, but that's one of your options. Okay. We're not officially documenting that process because Demeter just feels like an easier approach for now. But that is something we really need in the course is good documentation for getting Nix running on Windows. Is anybody here on the call who was able to achieve that? Yeah, Sebastian suggests just setting up dual booting, but that's a project in itself. Any other suggestions or success stories?
I haven't tried it, but it might work in Docker.
I've looked into Docker, and I guess that's more research into that because I'm not exactly sure what that is either. But I went into a couple of forums and read that Docker may be a solution to it.
Vincent, were you able to get Demeter running in the meantime?
Demeter, I believe so. Yes, setting up the account. Let's see. I think I'm there now. Yeah, but I have Demeter's. I have it paused at this moment.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I want you to have that so that even as you're working on your local environment setup in parallel, you can also just be, if your local setup is not ready yet, you can still use Demeter to do some of the other lessons, and then in the background be working on getting Nix running on Windows. Sebastian, do you have any favorite docs on dual booting for easy reference?
I use YouTube videos. I can find which one I use and share it. But that's what I'm using at the moment. Dual boot.
Thank you. I'm gonna look that up now.
Faizan, that's good to hear. So you got into Demeter now?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's working fine.
That's awesome. Cool. So my question for everybody today is, I wanted to play around with at least one, and if we have time, more of the languages that we've written validators in so far. So whether, we could start with Plutus TX, we could start with PluTS, or we could start with Aiken. Anybody have a strong preference of which one we look at first? And would anybody be willing to share their screen and drive for us? No preferences? What are you most excited about? Like, so as you've started looking at these three different languages, who's getting most fired up? Paisan's a vote for Plutus TX. That's fine with me. Any others?
I was excited about Aiken, but I haven't looked at Plutus yet. I mostly just liked that it was a totally new language. It looked cool.
Yeah. One of the things I left in the intro video for Aiken as a task for everybody else was to clear up the warnings that we get, the way that Aiken was provided. I'd be interested in taking a quick look at that and seeing if we can get it to do anything differently. And then we can jump over to Plutus TX in Haskell with some of the same concepts and see if we can get a different output as well. How does that sound? Now, yeah, Martin, exactly, right? So mesh now, and we were talking about this right before we started recording for today. You know, the question of where does the actual transaction happen? And that's what mesh is going to provide for us. Okay. Plutus right? The TypeScript version is very convenient for using with something like mesh because both are written in TypeScript and JavaScript. But you can mix and match, right? It's 100% possible to write contracts in Aiken and then use them in a JavaScript project that has Mesh or Lucid in it. And that's what we'll start to see. I'm going to share my screen, but I'm concerned about my internet access. So we'll see how long this lasts, but I might have to ask somebody to take over if my bandwidth can't handle it today. Let's just see how this goes. Nice. I like that multitasking, James. You're not the first one to attend a Gimbal Labs meeting from a medical establishment. We're glad to have you here. Just taking a moment to get set up. All right. Oh, for real. I know. So that's a really good point too, Martin. There are some other languages for us to cover that are not covered in the course yet, right? So Helios has been attracting some people's attention. How do you say that word? Eopsin, is that how people are saying it? Option. Oh, right. Yep. Yeah. So this is a place where continuing to grow this course, we might add learning targets 101.7 and 101.8 someday as we continue to add additional languages. And if you're passionate about any of these, let's talk. If you'd be interested in writing a little intro module, get us to Always Succeeds. That'd be a great contribution to the course itself. All right, so I want to go over here. So I've got this Aiken Hello World set up, and I'm pulling up my docs right now just so I make sure I'm going through the right steps. And let's take a look at my validator itself. Oh, shoot. On this device, I already cleaned up the errors. Hold on. We got to bring those errors back, though. Wanted to go through this process together just to see it working. There we go. I think we had something like this in the official documentation. And then I should be able to, if I CD into the Hello World directory here, I should be able to run Aiken build. Okay. Yeah, this, I wanted to see something like this. So no matter what language you're using, right? Being able to read errors so that they're helpful to you is always something we want to practice. And this is actually something that I personally really like about Haskell and Nix, is that they provide often actionable errors, and you can take them one by one and make things work. Same is true of a JavaScript project, and same is true dramatically of Aiken. I find these errors to be really well written and really helpful. You can tell me if you agree or disagree, but let's see what this says. While trying to make sense of your code, I came across an unused variable. It shows it to me, and then it says, no big deal, but you might want to remove it. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
what
like that.
variable? Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. Feel free to interrupt me too. Sometimes I get going. And so please just jump in anytime, everybody, or use the hand raise. So this one, it just says context is unused, right? This little bit of data that we're defining here, and this is a typecasting, right? So we have a variable or an object called context, and it's supposed to be data, and it's not being used here, right? It's not being used in the logic of this actual function because we're just returning true. Okay. We see the very same error for datum, for redeemer. This looks like, oh, and this is from the other contract, right? This is from, where's this coming from? Always succeeds ends. Yeah, I was playing around with this one over here just to create a different example. So the errors that we're seeing for this one, oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, I thought I was going to see more warnings there. Now I got 11 warnings instead of 6. Because what we wanted to look at, I wanted to see not just these unused variables. No big deal, but you might want to remove it. And then we also have a different kind of error that says we have an unused type, and often if we're saying like these are our import statements, if you're familiar with languages where imports are going to happen, right? So just to show you what just happened there, I was able to make more errors by including some imports up here. If I get rid of those again, I won't have 11 errors, I'll have 6. And some of those errors are coming from this always succeeds ints file. So let's just delete that too, so it's not getting in our way. And now if I run this again, now we're down to just 3 warnings, and they're exactly what we would expect, right? For datum, redeemer, and context, we're creating variables, but not using them. And we get a warning. Is it a big deal? No, it says no big deal. And I really appreciate that part, like how much should I worry about this error? So hopefully that part feels helpful. But if my goal was to get rid of that warning, anybody have any suggestions for what I could do?
Does the underscore thing like in Haskell work?
So for the type or for the name itself?
I was thinking for the name itself, like I would have said like underscore colon data, like that's the first thing I would have tried. Or maybe just underscore without the whole data part, I'm not sure.
Worth a try. All right, that gives us a warning. Oh, look, so it appears that the underscore kind of works. I found two arguments both called this. So like it's treating those as file names as opposed to in Haskell where we've named a parameter, but we use the underscore to say that it could be anything, right? So in this case, and so now let's really think about that, right? We're saying, look, if you're hearing this for the first time regarding validators, this is important. And is my screen frozen? I can't tell.
Yes.
Yeah, I might need to lean on somebody else here. I'm just not sure I quite have the internet access to do this, and I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, I can see on this screen here that it's not sharing. But just without being able to fully illustrate this point at the moment, yeah, okay. All right, I'm not going to be able to drive today for the live demo, but let me just share this point right here. Datum, redeemer, and context might be brand new to you, and if they are, that's okay. Okay, these are terms you're going to see all the time when we're writing validators, and over the next few weeks, you're going to have plenty of chances to experiment with those. Okay, so I don't want to get caught up too much in the details of what each is, but I want to point out that in the always succeeds as it's provided in the course, we define these three things as data, but then what does the function actually return? And if you have module, or if you have lesson 101.5 open, you can see this. No matter what inputs it takes, no matter what parameters or arguments the function takes, it just does one thing. It returns true, right? So this is kind of similar to providing an underscore. We just ignore those values. But by ignoring them and not using them, that's of course what gives us the warning. Does anybody else have the Aiken project open on their screen and might be able to share so we can try some things together? Yeah, that's okay. I know that. So, right, in terms of environment setup, if you don't have cargo set up yet, that's going to be a problem too. And again,
Cargo
I
is
want to apologize.
Cargo is from Rust, right?
That's right. That's right. So Aiken,
yeah, I have that, but I have not gotten to that portion. So I don't know if you can show me what to do. I can see what happens.
we can come back to that. I think when people have that set up, we can start to play with it a bit more. And what we're going to try to do as we move through the course is try to write the same validators in different languages. So we'll get to that. But yeah, if anybody wants to be able to share or drive as we explore Aiken, that's great to get that set up. What about, so in the meantime, would it be okay if we also took a look at some Plutus TX together? Does anybody have the REPL running on either their local device or on Demeter and is able to share a screen right now?
I have that in my local.
You want to drive, Sebastian?
Sure.
Thanks. Yeah, let's take a look.
Let me close some stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to try to put people on the spot every week at live coding. So be ready for it. And if you're looking for a chance to practice showing people around, this is a really good chance to do it.
Is it visible?
Yes, we got it. All right, so take us into the template project. You can get Nix running.
Sure. Let's forgot the command.
Oh, make sure to run that in Plutus apps.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
And then while that's getting up and running, do you have an editor open? Oh, look how quick that was. Nice. And this is the Nix develop shell. Excellent. So for now, yeah, you can cd ... to go back one directory and then cd into the template. And we should be able to run Cabal REPL quickly from here.
Sure. Do I open the code editor here too, right?
That's great. And I can't see the code editor on your screen. Oh, there it is. Good. Excellent. And let's open up the source folder. And there's always succeeds is so far the only subdirectory there. You'll start to see other ones in the next few weeks. And let's
Sure.
open up the validator for now. Okay. So Jeff was talking about those underscores. Those are on line 12 and what we can see on Sebastian's screen here. All right. And so here, this is different from Aiken. We don't say the name of datum, redeemer, and context. We just have on line 11 built-in data, built-in data, built-in data. But it's implicit in the form of a validator that the first one is your datum, the next one is your redeemer, and the last one is the context. And what you're going to start to see as we build some contracts that actually do things is that each of those types will start to be unique from each other. Okay. For now, they're all just this built-in data type, which is part of the Plutus platform. And we don't care what any of them are. And the way we say I don't care what it is with those underscores on line 12. And this generates a certain CBOR string, right? And Sebastian, looks like you've already got it in your output folder over there.
Yeah.
So if you open up output, then we can see this string. This should be the same one that was produced by the course, right? Which is a good thing. We want reproducibility of this same code, no matter where you're building from. That's kind of the point of using something like Nix. But what if we wanted to somehow change it, right? Just start producing a different output. Has anybody tried any experiments yet with this? Any suggestions for how we could change our validator while still keeping it always succeeds?
I haven't tried it, but I assume any expression that adds useless complication, like if something, but then like both of the if branches return unit or something like that.
This is cool. Well, so without even getting into some conditions, yeah, what do you think? Like right now, this validator returns unit. Would it make a difference if we had it returning a Boolean instead? Make a prediction in your head and let's try it. Okay, so Sebastian, on line 11, change that unit to bool.
Yep.
Right, and then make that unit a true. This should essentially be doing the same thing. And now we can leave everything else the same. Jump into the compiler though, so we can tell the difference between these. Just the compile file first. And on line 21, the first time we compiled this, we called the file always-succeeds. Just add something to that file name. You can add a number at the end of always succeeds 2. I'm looking inside the quotes. Don't change it there because that's actually the name of the directory, right? Where we're getting our validator from. But inside the quotes on line 21, right before the .Plutus, we just put a 2 there. Okay, good. So now we got a different file name. And this is important for everybody to know, right? This is just any file name you want to put on your Plutus file. And it doesn't even have to be a .Plutus script. You could do .text or whatever. And this would output the content of that file into this file name right here. All right, so now we can jump back to the terminal. And we can run the REPL here in the template because you're in Nix develop. So we can say cabal REPL. Okay. So now we get our first error. Is it Haskell not use bool?
Has it got go back
I
to
think
the
we have not defined what is bool, right?
data kinds.
Any ideas?
Maybe it's the prelude.
Yeah, bool is in prelude, and you normally have no default prelude or something like that in the file. I can't see it.
Excellent. Excellent. So one thing we might want to do is add the necessary import. Okay, so this is such a slim version of a Plutus validator that it doesn't even have some of the simplest imports that you're going to use all the time. Okay. And this is a really important thing to start to understand. So on line 7 and 8, so far, what are we importing? The V2 Ledger API and Plutus TX. Okay. But we don't have access to bool yet. And Dan suggests we might want to import the prelude. Let's try it. Okay, so what if we just add that? Yeah, import prelude. What do you think? That's a different error. That's good, right?
Pattern matching one.
But not the prelude from Plutus TX.
Okay, because right, this is the prelude Boolean, which can't be matched with the unit. So what if you tried, as Sebastian suggests in the chat, what if you try Plutus TX .prelude instead?
I can see the chat with this.
And what's the difference between Sebastian's suggestion and Martin's suggestion here? You see how one just says import Plutus TX .prelude, And then you can also include these parentheses and bool at the end, right? Have people seen the distinction between these yet?
Well, if you do it like Martin, it would only import the bool options, right? Well,
Right. Right. So here on line 9, get rid of the word, the second instance of prelude. We just want Plutus TX
Oh, yeah.
dot prelude, right? And the way this is written, it's going to import the entire prelude. But do we need the whole thing? Do we need all of the functions inside of Plutus TX dot prelude? No, this would be inefficient to import everything. So if you follow Martin's suggestion, we will only be importing what we need, which in this case is bool. Yeah, Martin, that's the question. If we can get the REPL to open successfully, then we'll be able to compile this and we'll be able to compare them. All right, so save this. Let's compile REPL again, see if we get a different error.
I think my system froze.
Oh, it's still moving for us. You're not getting oh, there you go. Let's see. What is it telling us this time? All right, same error. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, we're probably importing the correct Boolean now, but we still need to add something down here. Okay, can you pull that error up again so we can look at it together? This is a key piece. Okay, so
we can change the validator function to return easily unit.
The validator function itself, we could change the validator function back. That's what it was doing originally, is returning unit. And what we're trying to do is figure out, well, what if we didn't want to use unit and we wanted to return Boolean instead?
Is there somewhere in one of the wrapper functions where we have to like put an underscore version that throws away its result or something?
Yeah. Right. And so if you have some experience so far with Plutus, you've seen this concept of wrapping, right? And in this case, we're not using that yet because we haven't needed to. But already you can see from this very simple version of a validator, there's a lot of boilerplate we have to add just to get to the point of going from unit to Boolean. And you're actually going to see the same thing when we move from built-in data to anything more expressive than that. All right. So if anybody's seen this before and has a suggestion, we can try it. And if not, we can walk through this together right now.
I guess it sounds like it's probably a standard Plutus thing, but I was kind of surprised we're even allowed to turn anything other than unit. I would have thought that the rule would just be always unit.
Excellent. Yeah, good, right? So like unit, and it's actually more efficient, okay, to return unit than Boolean. Anytime you're using built-in data or unit instead of something more expressive like a Boolean or some of the expressive data types that we'll write down the road, you are asking for more computation and therefore building a bigger script and therefore raising your transaction costs. Okay. But I think this is valuable to see, and I want us to get to the point where we're answering that question. Does this result in different CBOR?
Do you need to? No. Sorry, I was wondering if you needed to import built-in data with from the Plutus TX Prelude.
Excellent. No, so this compiled without importing that. We have built-in data from Plutus TX natively.
Okay, yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
All right, but Plutus TX doesn't give us much more than that. I mean, it gives us all sorts of helpful functions, right? But in terms of writing this logic right here, you can see how quickly we already have to look at some other options. Okay. All right. So what we can do, and so Jeff talked about this concept of wrapping, and that's what we are going to want to do right here. And sorry, this is me dealing with network issues. If anybody knows how to do that and wants to walk through this, you can lead this conversation right now, but otherwise, it's just going to take me a moment to get onto my server here. Sorry.
Hey James, I also wanted to update you that the Nix development command had finished. So I know you're in the middle of this, but whenever you're ready, I can.
That's great. Well, so your next step is what Sebastian just showed us, right? Now that you're, we left off with you running Cabal REPL, right? No, we left off with you running Nix shell.
Nix shell, yeah.
Okay, so now you're ready to cd ... backwards one directory and then cd into the template where you should be able to run Cabal REPL now that you're inside of Nix.
Okay. Would you like me to screen share so we have this, or what do you think?
Sure. Yeah, and then we'll come back. So Sebastian, is that okay with you? We'll look at
Sure.
we'll look at getting into the environment, and then we'll try to figure out this bool issue. Let's give it a try. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this, you see how it says segmentation fault,
Yeah.
right? That's the error that points to the GC don't GC1 flag that we've been using. Okay, so jump back over to the course documentation.
Let's see.
And yeah, instead of use that command at the bottom there, GC don't GC1 Nix shell. And so we know so far what we saw in Stack Exchange is that there are some edge cases where this segmentation fault is going to happen.
Should I try the Nix develop one first?
It just looks like you pasted it twice right there. Just paste it once.
Oh, my bad. Let's see.
There we go.
Cool.
Okay. So this is going to take a little while once again, because it's going to get past the point where that seg fault happened, and then it's going to keep going. So it might be quick right now, but it depends on how much is still left to download here. Oh, great. Perfect. Now we got to the next error. What does this one say? We saw this one yesterday.
Experimental Nix feature flakes is disabled. Use the hyphen extra experimental hyphen features flakes to override.
Bingo. So if you tap the up arrow, you get your previous command. Keep it just the same as before, but add a space and that suggestion right there.
Like that?
Yep. All right, I like our chances right now.
Sorry, what? Come again?
I like our chances of this working right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do we get this time? Oh, and then we need the Arch Darwin. Who, I have this one from the Zoom chat yesterday. I didn't add it to the course yet. Let's see. Nice, Harsha. Eris, do you see what Harsh is adding? The second flag there, dash option and then system. Let's try adding that and see. So press the up arrow one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then add this one. Let's
Wait,
see.
which one am I adding?
In the chat, Harsha suggests using dash option,
Oh, okay. That's
system, and then it's x8664 Darwin.
cool. Let's try.
Here, press the up arrow and oh, we want it to all be one command. Okay, here. Press the up arrow a few more times. And yeah, perfect. Right. Oh, there's for some reason, do you see how? I don't know why it's doubling up right there.
Sometimes I get that problem with GHCI. I don't know why.
Okay. Here. Yeah, there's an extra space here.
I can try to clear and then control paste again.
Yeah, I got rid of the new line in the chat right here. Try what I just shared, the whole thing.
Like that?
Oh, we're still getting a new line there. Okay. Yeah, press Control C just to escape without doing this. And we're just going to type it in. So tap the up arrow until you get a clean copy of this thing from a few lines ago. Keep going. Keep going. This right here. Okay. Yeah. Down one. Right there. Space dash option. We'll just type it in. Sometimes copying and pasting is not worth the trouble.
Okay.
All right.
Is it all one
Space.
word or space?
Nope. Space system. Space x86 underscore. Looks like 64. You got it. All right, let's try that.
And where did this come from? Is it documented somewhere like in the Nix on the Nix website, or how would one know?
It is somewhere. Yeah. Anybody got a good answer to that one?
Sometimes I'm like, where are you computer wizards pulling this stuff out?
No, honestly, but so this is the nature of this system right now, right? If you want to be a JavaScript developer, there's how many years of documentation that have been written to help you with that, right? If you want to be a Plutus developer, not just a Haskell developer, but a Plutus developer using a Nix package manager that's changing as we speak, using an M1 chip that's only existed for 18 months, you can start to imagine how all of these things combine to create a lack of clear documentation. Okay, so a lot of these things, people are, yeah, exactly like Jeff is saying, blogs, Stack Overflow. I search Discord servers sometimes when I have an error and I just see, has anybody asked a question about that, right? So this is, it's kind of a matter of cobbling things together, creating your own documentation, and that's exactly what we want to achieve. I hope that this course becomes kind of a living piece of documentation, and wherever it's lacking, we can continue to update it, and I'll be asking your help for that from anybody who's interested.
Yeah, speaking of which, I also mentioned to try like a markdown file. So I started with that. I need to send it to you though sometime.
Excellent. Yeah, I'd be happy to show you how to incorporate that into the project. And I want to start a little community docs directory on each of the live modules. So we'll get there.
Cool.
So it looks like you've gotten farther in this process, right? This actually can help us think about what Nix is doing, right? It's installing all of your dependencies right now. For Plutus project, there happen to be many of them. And sometimes it hits an error in the middle of that process, right? And so what you can see right now is the first time you ran this, it ran for a while before it got to the seg fault, and then it stopped. Okay, so we solved that error. We added a flag and we kept going, but then it quickly hit the no flakes error, so we added a flag for that. And then it very quickly hit the ARM architecture error, and so we added the option system flag for that. And now we are farther than before, right? So now it's downloading another set of dependencies that it didn't touch yet because it didn't get to this yet. So it's hard to know how much more time this is going to take right now. It could be a little while.
Okay. So then I can do stop share and then I'll just let you guys know when it's done.
Awesome, thanks. This is really exciting to be switching back and forth. Now, Juan's got an idea. Sebastian, you willing to keep going?
Yep.
Let's give it a try. Yeah, this word wrap has come up a couple of times. What are we talking when we talk about wrap? It's okay if you're not sure. Okay, so what we can do, let's just try this. You see how on line 16, and actually wait. Yeah, Martin, you got this version of using wrap make validator, but that was still, like Jeff pointed out, returning just a unit and not a Boolean. Our goal is to figure out how to make this work with the Boolean. And so one of the things we can do is down in this validator step where it says make validator script. That is, you see, I'm trying to find my example that there's I have some examples that take us 2 steps further. I'm trying to parse out what the critical thing we need to change right here is.
James, I put in the chat an example from.
There it is. Nice.
I
Let's
think
use that.
you mean this.
This one, well, you see, this one still is not returning a Boolean. This one is returning a unit, right?
No,
so
but this is the function. You need to
this
do.
is how to use it. Okay.
You need
Let's
to do
try it.
this, but with my validator, and then you do something from built-in data to unit.
Okay. Yeah, let's try it. So first we've got well, we don't need the parameterized bit, right? Because we're not adding parameters to this validator yet, but we do want the wrap. Okay, so should we try importing that first? Import utilities wrap. All right, and so let's try this. Where we're writing the validator on line 16. Let's put parentheses around everything starting with the double dollar sign to the end of the line. Okay, so we're just going to wrap that in an extra set of parens. And then instead of compiling my validator, let's compile just the word wrap. Okay. And then on the next line, just add 2 spaces to give us a little indent, and we're going to use don't add a line, just 2 spaces. So if you're on line 18, space, yeah, and that should be read okay. Haskell's really picky about tabs, but this should be fine. Type where. And then on the next line, and yes, perfect. Another tab from there, we're going to say wrap equals
Maybe we need to choose another name. Rapid validator.
Exactly. That's going to be a problem. I'm not certain we have to import it here. We may end up doing that. Or we picked a good one to start with. I forgot that I didn't have this in my notes, and this is, hold on. This is, and we don't need the params. Yeah. This validating. Yeah, there's a few different ways to arrange this. For now, let's say that wrap is equal to make, yeah, MK untyped validator. No, because what does that do? Oh, I need help here. Yeah, that looks good. Let's try that. Yeah, let's try Juan's command. That's probably the simplest way to do it. So here, Sebastian, replace everything from line 17 to 19 with Juan's suggestion in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just try that.
We need the space between the dot.
Ah,
Dot is
oh, yeah, yeah,
operator,
yeah,
composition.
yeah. Yeah, concatenating.
All right. Will this work? This is exciting. Import. Okay, so try just getting rid of that import. I don't think we need it, but we may need to import something else so that we have wrap. Let's see what happens.
I think maybe it's the package Plutus TX dash
Yeah.
utils.
I
Maybe
think you're right. I think we're going to end up using one of those utils package, but let's just see what error we get from right here. Nice. Okay, that's a good error. Look at line 17. Well, okay. Yeah, wrap is not in scope and the dot operator is not yet in scope. Let's fix that error first because it's really clear how. Perhaps you want to add dot to the import list in Plutus Prelude. So actually, you don't need to add a new import right here at the end of line 9 or in between the purple and the yellow parens, add a comma. And then open and close parentheses. And in them put the dot. Okay, so that's basically saying bring in the dot operator. And you'll be able to see, just save this file and run Cabal REPL again, and you'll see that at least that error is gone. But we'll still have the one about wrap. Good. Okay, so we squashed one, but now we need wrap. I believe that's in Plutus.script utils, but correct me if somebody knows otherwise. Okay, so now we need a new import, and let's try import Plutus.script.utils .v2. Oh, no, not like that. We want a bunch of nested dots. So Plutus.script.utils.v2. Try that. This is probably not going to work, but I'm actually curious if this would be sufficient. It's probably more than we need. Okay, no.
It
Okay.
should just be utilities.
Really?
Import utilities bracket parentheses with wrapping. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Because that didn't work a moment ago. Let's try it again. So
But we need to modify the Cabal file.
Oh, right. Because we have not. Wait, but which utilities are these? Utilities from where?
I don't know. In the last version of the Pluto course is a package called utilities. I don't know if it comes with the Bluetooth app repository. Afterwards was where you said in Bluetooth script utils, but the Haddock is not working. I can see which package is.
Yeah. And my
James?
internet is down, so I'm trying to go fully from memory, and you can see how that's going right now. Right, I don't memorize anything. I always have docs open, so I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
not able.
can someone put the link to the docs and maybe we can search for it?
James,
Uh-huh.
it's Dan. Do you need to put no implicit prelude in to avoid conflict between the Plutus TX prelude and the normal prelude? Is there a chance of conflict there?
Say that question one more time. Sorry.
Do we need a language no implicit prelude?
Oh yeah, likely. That's likely.
Yeah.
Let's try that. Let's see if that makes a difference. Because rap, I'm still trying to understand. Yeah, let's definitely add that, Sebastian, at the top. But I'm not sure where this import utilities is coming from. I would like to be more specific than that.
I've no idea what this one does, but do we need an import qualified post as well?
Import qualified. For which one?
I'm cribbing from the Plutus Pioneers.
Yeah.
They have a
Right,
very
so
similar thing.
there's a lot of imports there. This is why I'm really glad we're doing this, right? How many imports are there that we don't understand exactly what they are, but we just use them as boilerplate, right? And this is what you're provided with here is the most bare bones possible template. And as such, it's missing a bunch of imports that we want to be able to add back in one by one. And we're not going to do this every time. There's a whole bunch of templates that we're going to start using where a lot more is provided. But when you're provided with a lot, it's hard to know what you can delete safely, right? So I'm glad we're going back to the drawing board a little bit. But I'm sorry, I just realized I don't have any examples of this intermediate step where we're just going from unit to bool without changing anything else. So welcome to the party. Can anybody find where wrap is in the documentation? Yeah, I can also see that it looks like.
Can someone put the link to the documentation on the chat?
The Haddock site is down right now, unless this is my problem.
I want to update also that it's still running on my end and installing. I have to go in like 5 minutes. So, what should I just we'll take it next time or what do you
Yeah,
think?
no, this is a step that takes a few minutes. So if you're still in the middle of that step, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, James, I found the the place. It's something from Plutus Pioneer program. So I pasting the links in the
But this
in the chat.
is defining wrap for us. But where is that coming from? Oh, there's utilities. Oh, I see. Utilities is coming from the Plutus Pioneers repo itself, right? We shouldn't have to depend on the Plutus Pioneers repo. Right, so this is defining wrap directly right here. Oh, geez. Okay. Utilities dot Plutus. Oh, wait. No, you see. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So utilities is not what we want to be using right here. However, there's a good, this is good information for us. Okay, so check it out. What's on Sebastian's screen right now is the project that is distributed with Plutus Pioneers, and it names a module called utilities. This is not boilerplate for just any general Plutus project, although of course you can use the way that they're setting this up, okay? But when we say import utilities into our always succeeds file, it can't find that because utilities is not a global package. It's just a module that's inside of the Plutus Pioneers program. Does that make sense? All right, so we can't count on it from a global perspective. However, what we do see in those utilities is how wrap is defined, and that's really helpful. Let's jump over to the file. If you can go to the source utilities, and then plutustx.hs. This file shows us a way of wrapping, right? And it's kind of, this is kind of what we were looking for. Look at lines 17 and 18 right there, right? This is basically giving us a way to go from data to data in this kind of more expressive format on line 17 to the format that works just out of the box, which is on line 18, right? And that's how this wrap function is going to work. Now, when it comes to actually using wrap, this is just an arbitrary name for a function that's often used, right? Wrap in this context is defined on line 13 for the first time. It's not meant to be imported from anywhere, okay? It's just a customary name for something that we often do. So with that in mind, what is this doing? Okay, it's the thing that takes it's the function that takes our expressive code and puts it into the, not all the way into compiled code, but at least a step closer to these built-in data types that Plutus TX provides. Okay, so back to VS Code, and we only got a moment left right here. I have a meeting coming up in just a few minutes, but and the reason I'm struggling with this personally is I'm trying to parse out what's the minimum we can do. And this looks pretty good. What's on line 18 there? It's just that at this point, we need to define wrap. So here, so like before, now, Sebastian, go back to line 19, right? So on line 18, we're creating this function called wrap, but nowhere is it defined, and it's not importable. We could call it whatever we want, okay? Give us a tab once again and type where. And then on the next line, wrap equals, and let's just try this first. Try make untyped validator, MK uppercase U untyped validator. Yeah. I'm curious if this will work. In order for this to work, we need to import make untyped validator, which is going to be in, let's add one more import at the top. Plutus.script.utils .v2.
Capital V.
Yeah, capital V. .typed .script. And the typed has a D on it at the end. Typed. And scripts is plural with an S. And then here, just like we did on the line above, parentheses, and we can throw make untyped validator in there.
There's a typo in the first script. Plutus.script should be an I, not a Y.
Nice. Erez, see you soon. All right. Now, there's a bit of redundancy here. If this works, we can clean up a little more, but this is, I just want to demonstrate how to use the word wrap. I'm not sure if this will compile, but let's try it. Run Cabal REPL now. Oh, okay. Now this finally is because we're not pulling this in our Cabal REPL. Now that's great. We can work with that. Or sorry, in our Cabal project. Okay, so open up. It's actually not the Cabal. All right, actually, I'm sorry. Hey, Mix. I have to go. Sorry, I have another call right now. Thanks for exploring in the freewheeling session today, and I promise next time we do this, I'll have better internet access. But we're really one step away right here. We now just have to make sure we're pulling in Plutus scripts utils. And if people want to keep going, maybe you can ask Mix some questions here. Otherwise, let's pick it up right here. This is a critical thing for people to see. And if anybody can crack the code on this, make sure to tell everybody else the story. Thanks, everybody. Do people want to stick around? I can make somebody else the host so you can stick around. All right, we'll call it for today. Mix, Happy New Year. Enjoy it tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was having this, it is Ramadan and starting the day and eating after, fasting, opening the fasting and stuff. So I couldn't come earlier. But yeah, if anyone have a question or something, I would be happy to answer. Sure. But again, I think it would be better for you guys to call it a day. I saw that's a Plutus. So yeah, it took a lot of brain cell already.
Just to change a unit to a bool. What do you think, huh? But once you do it once, then you just copy and paste from your previous work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Actually, I got to use my Zoom account, so I realize I do have to shut down this meeting. Hey, thanks for the adventure today, everybody. We're just getting busy here. And see you soon.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.